Good morning, Matthew. It's Jack Parry speaking. How are you? I just thought I would have a go through your shot and tell you what I think about it. There's just a few little things which I thought I'd just add some value added. I know your mentor's already said a lot, but for me, it's just the one thing which for me, which was a bit of an eye-opener when I was going through, I think about class 4 or thereabouts, was the whole idea of overlapping and how things need to work together when they overlap. So here, for example, the main thing I feel that you need to do is to have some interaction in the way in which you stagger the different parts with this Sai. As he sighs, he does lead with his head, but before he finishes the head movement, the head almost hits the top here, and then the clavicles start, and then the elbows move, and then they kind of all occur at their own time. And not only that, but with the shoulders, both of the shoulders work at exactly the same time. Now, what would make it feel more organic if he's doing that, if he, and again, all your animations there, all I would suggest you do is you'd start by moving the head, and say by this stage, depending upon where he seems to be more leaned. Now, if he's turning his head for that side, chances are most of his weight is on his right hand side. So if he's going to lift from a side, he's going to have less weight on one side of his body. So he'll probably lead more. And again, this may work, it may not work, but I would tend to say if you're going to stagger the shoulders a little bit, so have the screen left shoulder lead a little bit, so have the head go a little bit, and then have introduce a little bit of the shoulder when the head is about there. Start to introduce your shoulder into it, and then immediately after bring the other shoulder into it before the head hits the top, because at the moment you've got your head here, and as you go through with the spacing of it, it kind of hits that ceiling there and stays there. Okay, so for those frames from, say, frame 6 to about frame 11, the head doesn't go anywhere. And, oops, what's going on here? Sorry about that. Interruption in transmission. But in that section there, you should still maybe have the head raising up and just cushion it at the top, and have the shoulders again staggered between the two. And that's really the only thing you need to do. You need to make sure that every single body part comes up at their own speed and goes down at their own speed. So head, then this shoulder, and then that shoulder, and then the elbow, and then that elbow. And similarly, when you're going down, also make sure that everything goes down at their own time. Now here, the thing that grabbed me the first time I saw it was the whole idea of he appears to react a little bit too quickly to the beer arriving. Oh, and even bigger than that was this head movement. When he moves up, that's fine, and again, you're moving your shoulders and your head at the same time. I'd start the head movement, and then one shoulder, and then the other shoulder, and then get the weird rig. But if you move your head from one side to another side, you do this and it will affect one of your shoulders. It's either going to compress the shoulder on the side that he's turning and stretch that shoulder down. So as he turns that way, I mean, you're kind of doing it there, but I feel like there should be a change in shape in his shoulders to show that there's that head turn and that he's really has that feeling of a change of shape. So that whole arm moves down, so there's a real shape change from that movement from where he's in the middle, where you've got that balanced symmetrical shape where he's looking over the side there, to where he changes here and really raise it so he's put more of his weight on this side of his body. And with the lift, you could probably again get some sort of in between here where you're showing that he's leaning onto that side. So he's still looking down that way, but you feel that he's actually pushing off that elbow a bit more, and you'll get that again in the shape of the shoulders, I think, that he comes across, and then after and that's also going to work because when he's doing this, he pushes off and you'll feel like an arc of the head as he moves to the side. So here he pushes off and pushes upwards, so it's not just a straight up and down movement, but his head would start off, say, or if his head starts off here, you probably end up with his head maybe on that side there, so that you have this arc through there, and that will also work from where you've got the shoulder down to here at this position, a little bit lower to his eventual shoulder position being maybe a bit higher. So again, you've got a bit of an arc in the location of the shoulder and an arc in the location of the head. So the head moves through an arc, the shoulder moves through an arc, and it seems to work nicely. So once you get at the top, that's fine, because now he's supporting himself on in the chair, I assume. So I had the shoulder there, and then we shift that weight across like that, so it looks really like he's sad. And here, again, just you need to go through all of your body movements, and when you do a movement like that, make sure that you, yeah, that's a much better overlap on that one than in the earlier ones. And the last little note, and again, I'm going in order of what catches my eye here. I feel like you could wait just a little bit longer and just let him stare at it for a little longer and saying, what is this? So just let it look like, okay, I know what the next thing to do now is to react to that. Having a little time where he's just thinking about it, go, that's probably not what I expected to see. So just a little bit longer on that thought. Because if that happened, he seeks it for a while, and then if he's really depressed, there's not much going on up here, so it takes a while, and I would even have him, I mean, he doesn't have eyebrows, but some sort of blink and a quizzical look at it, because when a character works, it goes from the sensory organs in through the eyes into his brain, and depending on how big his brain is will depend on how quickly he reacts to it. So if he's not that smart, he sees it and he goes, oh, and it has to sink in for a while, and then he goes, oh, there's a thing, and then he goes through the eyes, through the head, and then through the body. So to stagger that, also my thoughts. Nice to meet you. I'll try to do this as much as I can, but if I don't, I'll just leave you a few notes. But anyway, I thought I'd just get to talk to you face to face. Wish you all the best, and I'll see you around. Bye bye.